let me show you 3 things that you can do with a pivot table that I didn't know until quite recently, and maybe you didn't know either. Here we have a pivot table out of this data here. So we have berry, country, units, and date. The first thing I want to share with you is that if you have a column with date, you can create a slicer in the pivot table tab in the ribbon with this insert timeline. So it's very similar to a slicer. It's a filter tool that filters on different times. If we press on it, you'll see that each column that is formatted as a date will be in the list here. We can press on OK, and here you can see that you can easily filter the month that you want to have. That's the first thing. Maybe you did know about that. And the second thing I want to show you is that if you right click on the values that appear in your pivot table, you have this summarize values by, and here you can choose count, average, max, mean, and product. What I did before was that I went here to the right where I have my values and pressed value field settings, and then I summarized the values field by another calculation if I wanted to change that. But it's easier to just press here and get the count or the sum or whatever you want to. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is probably the most useful one that I didn't know about, and that's if you right click and you have show values as, then you can display the values in another way. For example, this one, percentage of grand total, will display a value as a percentage of the grand total of all values in the pivot table report. That means that of all units sold, the 100% grand total, 15.5% were sold in Brazil. You have different options here to display the values in a different way. Let's go back to no calculation. What I did before was to make a calculation next to the pivot table, take this cell and divide it by the grand total if I wanted to have that. But it's much easier to display it inside of the pivot table. And of course, you can drag the units into the same field here and choose one of the columns to be displayed as a grand total. That means that you have the number here, no calculation, and then the percentage of the grand total here. And that's 3 features that maybe was new for you.